Good afternoon, friends, and welcome to our Southern Sea Otters exhibit. My name is Maddie. I'm a naturalist here at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, standing on the second floor mezzanine level on the left-hand side, giving y'all a wave. Hello, good afternoon. I'm seeing lots of friendly faces, and you folks are all here at the right place at the right time because some members of our animal care team are about to step into the exhibit to perform a feeding and training session with our otters. In the few minutes beforehand, we're going to do some quick rearranging so everyone can get the best out of the view today. I'm going to ask you all to take a look around you, see if you notice any little ones or folks in mobility devices that might like to step up toward the windows. I want to thank you all in advance for being mindful so that way we can all get the best out of the action. We also have some monitors both on the first and second floors above the exhibit windows so you can see what's going on as well. I want to thank you folks so much for joining us here at the Sea Otter exhibit today. We're going to be getting into this exhibit in just a few minutes. I'm going to hop off mic to let you get acquainted with our sea otters. And until then, enjoy. Good afternoon once again, everyone. For those of you just joining us, welcome to our Southern Sea Otters exhibit. This voice is coming at you from the second floor mezzanine level. My name is Maddie. I'm a naturalist here. And you folks are all here at a great time because some members of our animal care team are about to perform a feeding and training session with these sea otters. Now, I'd like to introduce you to who we have here on exhibit. Our first otter is going to be Rosa. She is our oldest otter at a spry 23 years old. She's very blonde around the face. We also have Ivy. She's also quite blonde around the face, but her blonde is going down towards her belly as well. She is one of our middle children. Kit, last but certainly not least, is another another middle child of ours. You're going to see her start making her way over to the left-hand side of the exhibit. She is the darkest otter. So now from right to left, you're going to have Ivy, Rosa, and Kit, and they are going to be the sea otters participating in this feeding today. Now, our otters are participating in this training and feeding session because they're the starring roles in their own healthcare and welfare here at the Monterey Bay Aquarium. So they aren't just here for our entertainment. They are here to make sure that they are living their best lives. So we're going to ask them to perform a variety of different behaviors. Some of them are natural behaviors. So simply swimming through the water in that stationary position is an example of something they would naturally exhibit out in the wild. We might also ask them to participate in husbandry behaviors. Husbandry is essentially a fancy word for animal care. So you'll notice my animal care team did take out a crate onto the rockwork on top of the exhibit. So we might ask one of our otters to check out that crate. And the reason why we would do that is because we want to facilitate their animal care to where they're comfortable participating in anything we ask of them. So it looks like we've got Rosa that might be going out to the deck here in just a few. See my animal care team member kind of getting closer to her. So this is a way, it's very similar to if we were to put out a carrier for our pets before we take them to a vet. So that way they can sniff it and we can show them that it is a-okay. We definitely bring out certain devices here with our animals. So that way they are desensitized to them. And so they know that they are in a safe and healthy environment. Now it looks like my animal care team member just got out a blue and white buoy. Now, our otters sometimes will touch a portion of their body to this buoy, or they'll deck out, as Rosa is doing, onto that rockwork. This is a way for us to kind of guide the otters and allow them to touch a portion of their body to this buoy so we can get up close and personal with them, checking on their eyes, their coats, their paws, things of that nature. And you'll notice that we are rewarding our otters with some very special treats. We believe in positive reinforcement here at the aquarium. So whenever one of our otters successfully participates in something, we're sure to give them some yummy food. Now, out in the wild, otters typically eat about 20 to 25% of their body weight every single day. That is the average human equivalent of us eating about 25 pizzas every day. Now, I love pizza as much as the next person, but I don't think I could eat 25 in one day. One of the reasons they eat so much is to stay warm out in that cold Monterey Bay water. Another way they stay warm in the water is by grooming. They spend about 3 to 5 hours every single day grooming their fur. They actually have the densest fur coat in the animal kingdom at about 1 million hairs per square inch. That is the size of a postage stamp. For reference, your average house cat has about 1 million hairs over their entire body. So this is a very useful coat for these otters because they don't have blubber like some other animals do, so they need to rely on that grooming. So what they do is they'll rub their paws all over their body, trapping a layer of air between their fur and their skin. So you'll notice throughout your visit today, if you check on the otters a few times throughout, you might notice them doing that paw rubbing motion. That is a way for them to groom. Now, out in the wild, otters typically munch on hard-shelled invertebrates. That's going to be things without a backbone. So think things like clams. They also love to eat crabs, sea urchins, and we oftentimes, even here on exhibit, will feed them some yummy shrimp. We make sure to do all the hard work for them and just give them the yummy meat inside those hard shells because we learned if we give them those hard shells, they'll crack them against that clear, pristine glass that you folks are currently looking through. So we give them the 5-star delivery service without the fee. Now it looks like Rosa has just entered that crate up on the rockwork. Again, this is a way for the animals to get comfortable with any devices we might need to use for their animal care in the future. So this is our animal care team members really shining and showing that they have a very close, intimate relationship with the animals that we have here at the aquarium, where we can continue to study them and continue to learn how we can help them thrive out in the Monterey Bay. Now, you might notice we have some other objects here throughout the exhibit, especially over to the left-hand side. We've got some what we like to call car wash kelp in the spa area of that rockwork. Now, for that spa, unfortunately, it's not jet-powered. It's not the temperature of a hot tub. It's the same temperature as the rest of the exhibit. But all of those little objects you see throughout the exhibit act as enrichments, things that both mentally and physically stimulate these otters so they can interact with the exhibit in new and exciting ways. Now, otters act as and especially these otters, they act as stewards for their species. For those of you who don't know, otters were actually historically hunted to near extinction back in the 1800s because they were hunted for those gorgeous fur coats that I was mentioning earlier, and their population declined down to about 50 sea otters. Then some folks decided that that wasn't okay. They wanted to preserve this beautiful species, and eventually some laws and legislation were put in place, and now we have upwards of 3,000 sea otters out in what we call the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. So folks, this just goes to show that when we're passionate about something and we speak up for the voiceless, we get our friends together and real change can occur. These sea otters in particular that you see here on exhibit have all been deemed non-releasable by the U.S. Department of Fish and Wildlife for a variety of reasons, but they have a very important job. Sometimes we'll rescue otter pups from the wild that have maybe been separated from their moms or injured. These otters here act as surrogate moms for those pups, teaching them how to hunt, how to feed, how to groom, essentially how to be an otter. We've had quite a few success stories with this program, and it's a beautiful full circle moment to see the impact that these otters are having on the otters that come into the aquarium and the otters that are out in the bay. And that's one of the reasons why these feeding and training sessions are so important. Looks like we have Rosa up on that rock work, continuing with that training behavior with that blue ball. Oftentimes the balls that we have here on exhibit will have food inside of them, so that way the otters can crack into them to get that yummy food inside, just like they would in the wild. But that rubber doesn't bring any harm to the exhibit. So it is a win for us, and of course a win for the otters. But don't worry folks, we do give them those hard shells behind the scenes. Now folks, I'd like to tell you how you too can help preserve this beautiful species. Now I'm sensing we've got some ocean fans in the audience today. Maybe you like to kayak or surf, even scuba dive, or maybe even take a swim through that chilly water out in the bay. If you ever encounter a sea otter in the wild, we recommend keeping about 5 kayak lengths between you and any sea otter that you see. Oftentimes they'll be napping on top of the kelp canopy. That's the surface of the kelp that you can see on top of the water. So it doesn't look like they're doing too much, but that rest is actually really crucial to their survival out in the wild because they spend so much waking time exerting their energy, feeding, grooming, things of that nature. So we recommend keeping that 5 kayak lengths between you and the sea otter. We also have some other areas where you can see sea otters throughout the aquarium. I recommend heading to the wildlife viewing station on the back deck, where oftentimes you can see wild sea otters out in that kelp canopy. It is quite majestic out there, so definitely check it out. We also have one more showing of Luna, a sea otter story at the auditorium today. I like to call it the Ottertorium because it's right across from the sea otter exhibit. And last but certainly not least, folks, we can continue to enjoy these sea otters even outside of the aquarium. If you head to MontereyBayAquarium.org, we've got some live cams where we have a live cam on the sea otter exhibit, and you can continue to enjoy them even after your visit. So shout out to anyone who is joining us via live cam today. And thank you folks so much for joining us here at the Monterey Bay Aquarium. Now, once again, my name is Maddie. I'm a naturalist here standing on the second floor. I'm going to hop off mic to start answering questions for you folks. I want to thank you so much for joining us here today and helping us inspire conservation of the ocean. And if you're moving on, please continue to have a pawsome day at the Monterey Bay Aquarium. Thank you.